Welcome back, everybody. Last time on our previous video, we have gone through the ending branches of the brachial plexus. And so today we will be diving into some of the structures that are innervated by those nerves. And so how basically the brachial plexus is able to innervate the upper limb. Okay, so we all know that the endings of the brachial plexus are the musculocutaneous, the median, the ulnar, the radial, and the axillary. Okay, so the cords give rise to the terminal branches. The lateral and the median make the M shape for McDonald's, just as if you can remember this easily. So the McDonald's three lines right here are made up of most laterally by the musculocutaneous, the median, and the ulnar. Okay, so laterally mainly gives rise to the musculocutaneous, median and ulnar more medially. And so remember the median nerve is made up of by the joining of the lateral and the medial cords. The posterior cord gives rise to the axillary and the radial, like we discussed in the part 1 video. Okay, where did it go? Sorry, just give me a second here. Yeah, so let's see here. All right, so these are my notes. Actually, I just wanted to get on here to just give you guys a very good summary of the structures because it was very confusing in other resources. I'll also now share with you at the end of this video the notes from my resources book. All right, so let's just continue now. The branches and what they supply. So the axillary nerve, remember, it's not part of this M-shaped region. It comes out from the posterior cord. And so the axillary nerve is the first nerve coming out of the posterior cord together with the radial nerve. So the axillary nerve innervates the deltoid, the teres minor muscles, and the lateral cutaneous nerve of the arm. So it gives off a lateral cutaneous nerve of the arm that innervates the lateral side of like the skin that lies on the lateral side of the arm. Okay, so when I'm saying arm, it's the superior to the elbow. So here the axillary nerve innervates this part of the arm. Okay, the radial nerve, I don't know why I wrote here in muscle. So the radial nerve comes out of the posterior cord. It reaches to innervate the triceps muscles, the flexor muscles of the hand, and then the cutaneous innervation on the surface of the hand from the dorsal side. So the triceps, right? So they're on the posterior aspect of the arm. The forearm, it innervates the flexor muscles of the hand, the most superficial ones. And then it innervates finally cutaneous function. The superficial cutaneous branch that rises from here, from the radial nerve, innervates this part of the hand. So it's not the palmar side, but the dorsal side. And so it innervates part of the thumb, the index finger, and the middle finger, but the tips of those three are not innervated by the radial nerve. Okay, so just note that the radial nerve cutaneous innervation is this part right here that is in dark. Okay, now the third one, the musculocutaneous nerve innervates the biceps. Wait, let's just put it here so that you guys, sorry. So musculocutaneous is the next one that we're going to discuss, and it innervates the biceps, the brachialis muscles, and the lateral cutaneous side of the arm. Okay, so now we are below of the forearm. We are below the elbow, and so what the musculocutaneous innervates is the biceps and the brachialis muscle, and for the cutaneous innervation, it gives off a lateral cutaneous nerve of the forearm. That's the side of the arm that is below the elbow, and so the most laterally, that's where the cutaneous innervation of the musculocutaneous nerve lies. Okay. And finally, the main ones, like or the most important ones that cause a lot of innervation in our arm are the median nerve and the ulnar nerve. The median nerve arises, as we remember, from the median and lateral cords, and the ulnar nerve arises from the median cord. Yes, as far as I remember. There we go. Okay. So what these nerves innervate is as follows. So it's very nice how I just got all of those things condensed in here. So it's very good for you guys to memorize this, and you'll be sufficiently well with your information about the innervations of the ending branches of the brachial plexus. The median nerve here innervates muscles in the forearm, such as the pronator teres, the flexor carpi radialis, the palmaris longus, the flexor digitorum superficialis, the flexor digitorum profundus, the flexor pollicis longus, and then this part, the median nerve, innervates the radial half of this muscle, right? So this muscle is partially innervated by the radial nerve and partially by the median nerve. And then also it innervates the flexor pollicis longus, the thenar muscles. The thenar muscles, now we're talking about muscles within the hands from this point onwards. Thenar muscles, first and second lumbrical muscles. The sensation, M from the thumb to the half of the fourth finger. And so what I'm talking about here is we're talking about the palmar part of the hand. So it innervates the thumb, the index, the middle finger, and half of this fourth finger. And so it goes, just remember something like an M that goes around this part, so the palmar side. Okay, and this side right here is innervated by the radius. This is innervated by the median, and then the pinky and the finger next to it, like half of that, is completely innervated by the ulnar nerve on both sides, the palmar and the dorsal, and you will see right here. And of course, the median nerve innervates on the dorsal aspect, the tips of those fingers. The ulnar nerve, finally, it innervates the flexor carpi ulnaris, the flexor digitorum profundus ulnar half, the hypothenar muscles, the pinky muscles, third and fourth lumbrical muscles, palmar interosseous muscles that adduct the digits, dorsal interosseous muscles that abduct the digits, and then finally the sensation with the cutaneous function, the pinky and the other finger next to it on both dorsal and palmar sides. So this is a very condensed way of looking at things. I will just put you guys the other notes so that you guys can have a more condensed and more, let's say, well put kind of notes. So I'll just open this for you here and just skim through together. Okay, that's the ulnar. So here you have, one second. Yes, so the median nerve is the first one that we're going to talk, we've talked about. So it arises from both lateral root and medial roots of lateral cords and medial cords that join together to form the median nerve. In the arm, in the elbow, in the forearm, like we discussed. So in the arm, it just tells you about the course of this nerve. You can go ahead and read for yourself. It passes through the cubital fossa. Okay. In the forearm, also where it goes, and so you can see for yourself about the whole course of it. You have branches of the medial nerve. So in the arm and the axilla and the arm, just above the elbow, there's no branches. In the forearm, it gives muscular branches and articular branches to innervate such muscles. It has a, let's say, so your muscular branch, articular branch, you have an anterior interosseous nerve that comes out of here, a palmar cutaneous branch, and then a communicating branch with the ulnar nerve. branches of the median nerve in the hand are number one, the lateral terminal branch, and you can read about it here. Second, the median terminal branch, and you can also read about it. There's also a summary for you in here. And if you've paid attention to the previous discussion on the notes on the Word document, you'll find all of what I mentioned in here, but it's just a better way of arrangement. That's just an injury, don't worry about it. Ulnar nerve, of course, it arises in the axilla as the largest branch of the median cord, okay, of the brachial plexus. The course, it's in the axilla in the upper half of the arm, where it goes and what are the relations around it in every part. It can be nice for your speech as you say where the ulnar nerve rises, because sometimes he will give you a point in the oral issues saying ulnar nerve, and so you would want to really know the course of it and then discuss the branches. The axilla and the arm has no branches for the ulnar nerve. In the forearm gives off those, and then it discusses each and every one. But then there's also the cutaneous branches here, palmar and dorsal. It ends as those. And then there in the hand, you have a superficial terminal branch, okay, and a deep terminal branch. Of course, from the ulnar and the from the ulnar and the radial, there's always also the median. There's always terminal branches, and so that's why they say deep or like superficial. And there's this summary of the ulnar nerve. Don't worry about the injury. The radial nerve arises in the axilla as the largest branch of the posterior cord of the brachial plexus, and posterior cord also gives rise to the axillary nerve. This is the course, of course, very nice and condensed. And so you have also branches of the radial nerve, a superficial one, and a posterior interosseous, okay, so there's also branches from the main trunk, 3 cutaneous branches, motor branches, all mentioned here. When you're discussing the brachial plexus, there's a summary. When you're discussing the brachial plexus, you just know, I think when you've taken a look at the things mentioned in the Word document, this is a quick view for you to just say what these branches of the brachial plexus innervate, right? It's very nice for you just have it like that. But when you're really reading and studying, let's say in details, the radial nerve, the axillary nerve, the ulnar nerve, and that will happen in the end of the year, at the end of the year when you're studying for your final exam, this is what you need to be looking at, the courses, the branches, and where they end and what they pass through and stuff. Okay, that's the summary of the branches of the radial nerve. Injury, you don't need about it. Musculocutaneous nerve, origin from the arising the axilla, largest branch of the lateral cord, brachial plexus, and it terminates at the forearm, doesn't go, terminates by the lateral cutaneous nerve of the forearm, as it has cutaneous functions as we discussed, and so course and relations, the branches of it, and so it also communicates with the ulnar nerve, with the between nerves, like I mean like in the forearm communicates median to ulnar, right? Yeah, these nerves communicate sometimes, so you just have to know those when you're studying them. And then the axillary nerve originates in the axilla, branches of the posterior cord of the brachial plexus, the course, relations, branches. You don't need to worry about the injury. Yes, and so don't worry about that. So yes, so like that's the end of it. So until here is quite sufficient. And so just the brachial plexus is a very important part of the innervation of the upper limb. Just study its whole structure and then study what those 5 ending branches innervate when you're studying the brachial plexus. When you go on to study, let's say, the separate branches of the brachial plexus, like the ulnar, musculocutaneous, median, radial, and axillary, you just need to know everything about those branches, where they start, what they pass through, what they innervate the branches. Okay, and maybe in the next one, or as I go through the syllabus, I will also discuss in detail the cutaneous innervations of those nerves, because as the points are posted in the future, you will see a separate point saying cutaneous innervation of the upper limb. Okay, so I will do that. All right, thank you guys for joining in. This is the end of the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I hope this was useful.